Hey guys, 29 Marine here with the video talking about Mr. Trump and the election. Now, this is going to span, I don't know how long it's going to be, we'll see. But I'm going to kind of cover a wide variety of topics here, I think. That's the goal, anyway. But as you guys know, Mr. Trump is our president-elect, and it's 10 days past. It's November 18th, and the election was on the 8th, and it has just been fucking craziness since then, hasn't it? If you guys watch the news at all, you know that it's just been fucking crazy. Just shenanigans. Just all around shenanigans. But, so, I don't even know really how to start this. I should have planned it out better. But, okay, to lay it out straight up initially, I did not vote for Trump. I did not. I voted third party. If you guys are on following my Facebook, you'll see that I voted for General James Mattis, for old Mad Dog. And I made it very clear to everybody. And people know, my family and my friends know and all that stuff. Because I'm really, I'm not the biggest fan of Trump in general. I think some of his shit was over the top. I think that he's definitely an ass. Which, don't get me wrong, could be funny, but it's not necessarily something you want in a presidential candidate. But either way, I just don't think that he was a very good choice for the job. I think that with the way our system works, we were forced into two shitty choices, and I personally think that he is better than Hillary. I don't trust her as far as I could throw her. And so when it came to that, I'm glad that he won over her. I really am. And it was a shock. I mean, it really was. I was sitting here at my computer. I was playing, what was I playing? Either Battlefield 1 or H1Z1, one of the two. But I had the stream on my other monitor that was going over the Electoral College and the electoral votes that night. And as I watched it, I mean, Trump got an early lead, like right out the gate, and it kind of shocked me because that wasn't the anticipated thing. Some of the states we knew were going to go to Trump, and I mean, as the night went on, I think that Hillary only jumped ahead once, and that was when she took California, which is 55 electoral votes. But from there, it was just craziness. And man, I immediately started seeing posts on Facebook and stuff of people freaking out, Hillary supporters freaking out. They're like, no fucking way is this happening. Now, I'm not going to get into the Electoral College versus the popular vote, which one should count more. I understand the reasoning for both, and I get why both are there. And I would make some tweaks to how everything works if it was up to me, but that's for another time. So, yeah, anyway, either way, Trump ended up winning. And, and good for him. And I really do hope that he does well. God, who was it? I think it was Tom Hanks. Just posted, it was a tweet, or he was quoted somewhere as saying, I hope that Donald Trump does so well that I vote for him next election. And I think that's the exact kind of mentality you have to have. And for me, that would have been the case even if it was Hillary. And as much as I dislike her, we're all in this shit together. And the end goal needs to be a better United States. And so regardless of who gets elected, you want them to do well so that you'll vote for them next time. So that, that they've done so well that they've convinced you they can do the job and that they can do it well. And so I really approve of kind of his comment there. And I agree with that 100% because as kind of shaky as I am on the guy, I think that, he deserves a chance. And regardless, it seems like he's going to get that chance, whether you want him to or not. But it's been interesting, and more so because since that election, since that day, there is some people that were close to me, I guess, that are no longer that way, and one of them, she blocked my number and unfriended me from Facebook, which is just funny, like how fucking old are you, really? So what happened is this person posted an article about Bernie Sanders and how he said that now, like right before the election, he made this comment that now is not the time for a protest vote, to, and to vote third party. And he was obviously pushing people to vote for Hillary. Now, whether or not it may have been the right time, I found it kind of ironic that the guy that sold out his run and then supported the very woman that he said would make a terrible president and isn't qualified and shouldn't be president, is now completely supporting her. And I made that comment. I'm like, it's kind of funny. And then from there, this person lost their fucking mind. They're like, they freaked out at me for that. And then her friends started chiming in. And then this is a comment that really kind of set me off, which like, I didn't get mad. I was just more indignant at the fact that they actually think this, at what level of stupidity there is among fucking people these days. And the comment was something along the lines of, my friends and I, and this was, would have been what, Wednesday, because election day was the 8th. So this would have been the 9th, that Wednesday. And the comment was, I'm literally afraid now my friends and I are literally afraid to go outside. And this was like Wednesday morning, like the election had only been done for like 6 hours. And I'm like, oh God, Phil, such a loud snore. And I'm like, why the fuck are you afraid to go outside? Like seriously? Like, what are you talking about? And they said that they're afraid now that there's going to be roaming gangs of men going around raping women. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? I'm like, you do understand, right, that overnight no laws have changed. That goes from making roaming gangs of men that are trying to rape women illegal to illegal, or from illegal to legal. That didn't happen, right? And regardless of what you think of Trump, I'm pretty sure that that's not going to be a thing once he's actually elected. And I'm like, you do understand, right, that he's only the president-elect, that he isn't actually officially our president for like another 2-3 months. And that was irrelevant, and it kind of, apparently, and it kind of spiraled from there, and it got to the point where her and her friends were calling me a misogynist, saying that I am they're terrified that I have children because I'm going to raise my 2 boys to hate and disrespect women, and then I'm going to have them grab them by the pussy like fucking old Trumpel said there at some point, I guess. And I'm like, really? They call me a baby killer because my time in Iraq is relevant, I guess. And then they started telling me that I need to take a humanities class and that I need to learn about these things from other people's views. And I'm like, I get it. I was like, I understand plenty of things from other people's views. I'm like, but no humanities class at a fucking community college is going to teach me shit. I'm like, I have lived and worked in more countries than any of you stupid fucks have ever fucking how do they word it? Oh yeah, I've lived and worked in more countries than you fuckers have been to states. And I was like, I have seen both ends of the spectrums. I have seen here in the US where women's rights is frankly top notch. There's a couple things that need to change, i.e., and something I agree with them on is having paid maternity leave, for whatever time they deem appropriate. But they need to have that for men as well as the women, so a father can be home and paid and spend time with their kid. I think, frankly, in general, people need to spend more time with their kids, but that's a whole other thing. But with that, I agree with them on. They're like, other countries have that, and I'm like, I know they do, and I agree. I think that's a good idea. I'm like, but all this shit, they think that Trump's going to repeal women's right to vote, that he's going to do all this stuff. And I'm like, if he starts doing this, I will stand with you and I will protest the guy as well. I'm not going to go smash shit, down in like Portland or something, but I will agree with you and do what I can through my limited channels to make people realize that he's a dipshit. I'm like, but until the guy has done any of that, you're just fear-mongering, and you're just talking shit, and you're being insane. And I'm like, she's like, you just don't like that I voted for a woman. I'm like, there's quite a few women that I would have voted for. Carly Fiorina, I think, would have done a great job. But she obviously didn't get to the point where she was really in the race anymore. And I'm like, no. I was like, I don't care that you voted for Hillary Clinton. the thing that I don't like is that you guys are setting yourselves up for failure. I mean, this person quit her job because she worked as a waitress, and customers were coming in and they would, catcall her and make comments and stuff. And while it's not really something you should do, because I'm sure it gets uncomfortable for women, you gotta understand that is the restaurant industry and the service industry for any sort of food or bar or anything. And she's like, well, it's not right. And I'm like, well, you wore some pretty slutty clothes. I went in there while you were working. She's like, well, what I wear shouldn't affect how I'm treated. I'm like, but you do it to people. Like, if someone's wearing shitty clothes and they're dirty and they're all ripped up, you're probably going to assume that this guy's homeless. Or if you see a guy who's dressing professionally, got, nice slacks on and nice shoes and this and that, you're probably going to think that he's a professional in whatever field. I was like, and you judge people off that. You're more inclined to stay away from homeless than you are from people that dress nice and dress all snazzy. I'm like, but the same applies to women. If they're wearing slutty clothes, it kind of insinuates certain things. And whether that insinuation is correct or not, there's no way for that person to tell who's watching you. And it doesn't make them right, them harassing you. I'm like, but that kind of comes with the territory, and you need to understand that. And fuck, where was I going with this? And I'm like, if you keep quitting every job that you have because someone makes a sexual comment toward you, especially if it's not someone you work with, if it's a patron to that business, you're not going to get a job. You're not going to work in any place longer than a month, and then you're going to set yourself up for failure because when they look at your past job history and they see that you've quit, 8 jobs in the last year, then they're probably not going to hire you. And it's like you're just fucking yourself with this sort of shitty mentality. It has nothing to do with who you voted for or any of that. I just don't want to see you guys go down this path. And then more name calling happened, and I'm like, provide proof of this stuff. If you think that Trump is going to do a lot of the stuff that you're claiming, show me proof. Link me articles and actual articles, like from a reputable source, not this bullshit, ilovehillaryclinton.com type blog shit. And they couldn't do it. They wouldn't do it, and they just continued to harass me, and it was funny. And then it got to the point where she unfriended me, and then made another post, and her and her friend just started trashing me. And so I texted her, and I'm like, if you're going to talk trash, then do it in a place that I can defend myself against these people. And I'm like, they're all fucking useless anyway. She's like, well, why don't you say that, why don't you call them useless and stuff in a place where they can defend themselves? And I'm like, I would if you didn't unfriend me from Facebook. I'm like, shit, I would say this to their face. I guarantee none of them would get in my face and say any of their shit. I'm like, it's just pathetic. And then she blocked my number. And I swear to you, I was not, rude. I didn't, threaten her. Nothing like that. She just literally got upset that I wanted proof of all this crap that she's saying and the stuff that she's claiming about people, and they couldn't do it. She's like, I just can't handle this. It's hurting. I need to go. And, I'm going to block your number. And I'm like, okay, go for it. I'm like, but you're being fucking ridiculous right now. And apparently that is too much, calling someone ridiculous. I don't know. It's been a mess. And I know I'm not the only one that's had this situation. There's been families all across the country. There's been friends all across the country. And there's been all this rioting and protesting, people breaking shit because they can't handle it. That's what happens when you give participation trophies to everyone. Their candidate lost. They think that them smashing shit in these various cities are going to change a legally binding thing. And there was nothing wrong with it. There was no, that if something had been done incorrect or there was any sort of concerns about whether Trump did some shady shit to get elected, paid people off, whatever, Hillary's camp would be out there protesting it, as they should. And they'd be making claims, they'd be filing whatever sort of things they had to file to get this looked into. But that didn't happen. She came out the next day. Couldn't even go out and talk to her constituents that night. But anyway, the next day she came out and said that, I lost. It is what it is, and I wish him the best, sort of thing. And it was just, I don't know. And people think they're going to change how that works, and it's confusing. It really is. I don't understand it, but yeah, I don't know. I've been ranting on forever. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Let me know. I I really don't care who you voted for, so don't get into that because I don't want to start bickering. But kind of let me feel your side. Let me know if you've had this happen to you, that sort of thing. All right, guys. If you have any questions or you want to hit me up specifically, hit me up on the Facebooks, and I will talk to you then. Peace.